In the serene outskirts of Portland, Oregon, on a hill wrapped in mist and maple trees, stood an old mansion known as the Collins Estate. It belonged to Margaret Collins, a graceful, silver-haired woman who wore pearls and kindness like armor. Though wealthy beyond measure, Margaret had a humble heart. She lived with her only son, Andrew, and his wife, Cynthia, a sharp woman with a smile that never reached her eyes. Cynthia didn't love Margaret, she loved her property, her power, and her inheritance. Their home often hosted distant relatives, including Elena Harper, a soft-spoken woman whose hands still bore grease from helping her husband, Mark, a skilled local mechanic. Elena and Mark had one child, Grace, a quiet, respectful 19-year-old girl who was sunshine in silence. But tragedy came without knocking. One rainy morning, Mark was called to fix a roof in a nearby town. He never returned. He had slipped, crashed through the old shingles, and died before help arrived. Elena was shattered. She lost not only her partner but her home and hope. She began falling sick, first fatigue, then coughing blood. Still, she never begged. She only came to Margaret's house quietly, asking for aspirin or soup. Margaret always helped. One day, Elena sat on Margaret's porch, trembling and pale. She held Grace's hand tightly and whispered, "If something happens to me, please, keep her safe. She'll work for you. But don't let the world break her." Margaret promised. Elena passed away that winter, peacefully, silently, as if the wind had carried her away. Margaret took Grace in, just like she promised. She gave her a small room in the attic, and Grace began working, from dawn to dusk. Cleaning, cooking, helping Margaret with her medicine. But she did it all with quiet dignity. Cynthia hated her. "She's not family. She's a maid," she whispered to Andrew. But Grace never complained. She just smiled. In April, when cherry blossoms filled the air, Margaret's daughter, Helen, arrived from Canada with her 20-year-old son, Ethan Carter. Ethan was different. He noticed Grace. The way she rubbed Margaret's feet every night. The way she stitched old curtains instead of asking for new ones. One day, he saw her crying while washing dishes, and he silently placed a napkin beside her. No words. From that day, Grace noticed him, too. Ethan started helping Grace quietly. He'd carry heavy grocery bags, fix her leaking sink, bring her herbal tea when her back ached. At night, when Grace thought no one could hear, she would hum lullabies. Ethan would sit outside her door, listening. Cynthia noticed the growing bond. She exploded. "She's a maid. A charity case. She doesn't belong here." But Ethan, for the first time in his life, shouted back. "She belongs here more than you do." Margaret, weak but wise, just smiled. She had seen love like this before, when she was young. And she knew. It was real. They eloped quietly. No tuxedos, no bouquet. Just a court document, 2 trembling signatures, and tears of joy. Grace became pregnant months later. She wanted to tell Margaret first. But before she could, Cynthia found out. All hell broke loose. "She's trapping you. You threw away your future for a servant girl." The family tried to separate them. Ethan stood firm. "If she leaves, I leave." Margaret, crying, held Grace's hands. "You are family now, my dear." To support their future, Ethan took a job offer in Seattle. He promised to return soon. But fate struck. An icy road. A truck. A crash. Ethan was in ICU, unconscious. Grace rushed to Margaret's house for help, but Cynthia met her at the door. "You're cursed. You ruined his life." Despite Margaret's pleas, Cynthia had her thrown out, with just a bag and swollen belly. Grace wandered streets. Slept in shelters. Prayed under bridges. An older couple, Tom and Linda McAllister, found her one rainy night. "We lost our baby years ago," Linda said, gently touching Grace's hand. "Stay with us. We'll give you food and shelter. But when the baby is born, he's ours." Grace, desperate, broken, and in tears, agreed. She gave birth to a boy, Liam, with brown eyes like Ethan's. She held him for hours, then handed him to Linda, with a whisper. "Mama loves you. Always." And she left. Ethan woke up 3 months later. He asked about Grace. His mother, Helen, hesitated. Cynthia lied. She ran away. Left the baby. With another man. But Ethan knew better. He left the hospital, limping, bruised, but determined. With Margaret now on her deathbed, he kissed her forehead and promised, "I'll bring her back." He searched for weeks, shelters, soup kitchens, abandoned clinics. One cold evening, he found her serving food to the homeless. She turned. They both froze. He stepped forward. "Where's Liam?" She fell to her knees, sobbing. They went back to Tom and Linda. Grace, heartbroken again, said, "He's yours now. I gave him up." But Ethan dropped to his knees. "Please. I almost died without him. Without her." Tom looked at Linda. She nodded, tears falling. "We were meant to protect him, but he's yours." They handed Liam back. He blinked, then reached for Grace. She held him, shaking with emotion. Months passed. Margaret passed away peacefully, knowing love had won. Cynthia was cast out from the estate. Ethan, Grace, and Liam moved into a small house near a lake. Simple. Warm. Real. Their love, forged in suffering, grew stronger every day. And whenever anyone asked how they made it, Grace would simply smile and say, "Because he came back." True love isn't measured by wealth, status, or convenience. It is revealed in sacrifice, in silence, and in standing by someone when the world turns away. Grace had nothing, no money, no home, no family left, but she had dignity, kindness, and love. Even when she was thrown out, even when she had to give up her child to keep him alive, she didn't lose her humanity. Ethan, despite being rich and well-raised, chose love over comfort, truth over tradition, and stood by Grace when it cost him everything. The story reminds us that kindness is not weakness, it is strength in its purest form. Family isn't always about blood, it's about who stays, who believes, and who loves unconditionally. Even the darkest storms pass, and love always finds its way back. So no matter how broken you feel, no matter how lost you become, hold on. Because the one who truly loves you will always come back.